Well, good morning, Bombardiers. Here we are again on Saturday morning for another episode of Saturday Morning Serial. You've got me here at the workstation, and I'm running all the stuff here, switching back and forth. We've got some cool pictures to show you this week. And then we've got Vicky right behind me at the painting station, and she's working on Major Tom some more this week, getting a little bit more progress done on that.
Hey, everybody.
So we've got the chat opened up over on this side. So if you guys have any questions or anything that you want to pop in or just say hi or join us and talk about what you've been working on this week, we would appreciate it. I'd love to hear from everybody out there. We've been working on stuff on the Scout Ship Kickstarter project some more. We've got some stuff wrapped up as far as the casting on the all of the whole module sections, which was the last little bit of stuff that we were going to do on this batch. And we've gotten the Strafer cast, so I've got some pictures to show you that in just a minute. And then I've got molds made for the cloning array, and that's just about done. I've got a few more molds to cut up on that, and then I'll be running castings of that later today, and then we should be sending out batches of stuff on
Monday.
And I am super excited about that because I know it's been a while since we've sent out some rewards packages, so it'll be nice to have this next little section of stuff done, and I know that the backers are going to be excited about getting their stuff. We've already had a few people that have contacted us, posted some pictures of some of the things that they've received so far, so we're excited that those packages are getting out to the backers and that they're getting to where they need to be. I know that right now there's still global shipping issues. Shipping prices are still pretty high, and we're a little bit short on getting orders and stuff from some of our international customers and things because of that. But hopefully, things will be leveling out here pretty soon. And we're also looking forward to kind of getting back out in the realm of the conventions and stuff. We've got shows and stuff booked for later this year. I know we've got ReaperCon coming up in September, Labor Day weekend, and that's always fun for us to do. We get a lot of people that come by the booth there and talk to us, and it's cool because a lot of guys bring by miniatures of ours that you've painted, and show us projects that you're working on, and pictures on your phone and stuff, and we always love seeing that sort of thing. So if you are working on stuff, and you should be, because I know that Vicky threw the gauntlet down last year.
I sure did.
So there were a lot of how many people were at ReaperCon last year? What was the?
Oh shoot! I can't remember what the total was.
Well, didn't
they limit it?
Yeah, that's right. Okay, because
wasn't it limited to like 1,000?
Because of the pandemic, I think they limited the tickets.
I can't remember.
Yeah. So, and then we had
we had just over 20 entries.
Right, and we had 50 the time before.
Yeah.
So it kind of dropped a little bit.
Pre-pandemic, we had gotten up to 50, and then it kind of dropped. But I'm hoping that people will paint something, a Bombshell Mini for one of their entries this year. Because, we got the dog tags and you got the melee trophies.
Yeah, we're going to have those new melee trophies.
And we're thinking about doing another trophy, a new trophy.
Mm-hmm.
But there'll be more on that later.
Yeah, we're still discussing
still working that out.
Well, it looks like we've got Dragon Eye Miniatures has popped in.
Hey, good morning, Dragon Eye.
Yeah, it's good to see you in. Thanks for coming in and hanging out with us a little bit.
Yeah. But we've got a lot of things, we've got some fun things planned for ReaperCon later this year. We're hoping to add, to continue our ribbon stuff and actually add to it this year like we did last year. And we're going to look into doing a QR code for the ribbons so y'all can just, I don't know how the QR code works. Pat knows more about the technical stuff of that. But you can click on the QR code or take a picture of it or whatever and find out, well, this is how I get this ribbon. You know, all these ribbons will be listed and you can see how to get them.
Right.
So, because I know we have a lot of people that come by and they're like, well, how do I get this ribbon? And how do I get that ribbon? And it's like, well, just scan that QR code or take a picture of it or however it works. And
instead of explaining the same thing over and over again, it's easier just to like, well, hey, just hit that QR code and it has a whole list of like, well,
and
here's
it'll
what's,
tell you.
You know, if you buy these guys, you get this ribbon, or if you buy these, or if you don't get anything, you just come by and say, hi, you get this ribbon.
You get this ribbon, yeah.
If we should print up a ribbon that has a QR code on it that says, hey, get this ribbon if you scan the QR code. So it's kind of this cycle thing. I don't know. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But that would be funny. But anyway, okay. So Dragon Eye Miniature says that she is also known as Heather O'Neill, and I want to congratulate Heather O'Neill for winning our last Golden Melee trophy that I have sitting right here. That needs to be prepared and shipped out to you as your trophy. So I'm still working on that. It's still in the works because we've been swamped doing this other stuff. But anyway, congratulations again on that. And
congrats!
We loved seeing those painted Niran and...
oh my gosh, those were fantastic. With the Azro and everything?
Yeah, the whole team. It was
my
great.
Gosh.
Yeah.
If y'all hadn't checked that out, you need to check that out because it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, we were really happy with your entry and they looked super awesome.
Yeah.
So, hey, look, Dave's in Grey Wolf Studios, so he's jumped
in.
I guess he got his dose of coffee and has decided that he wanted to jump on the internet and.
Yeah, did y'all see what happened with my dose of coffee this morning?
Oh yeah, we'll get to that here in just a second.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, Dave was. I'm sorry, Heather was asking if we were going to be at Adepticon, and we're not going to be at Adepticon, even though that's one of my favorite shows. I like going to that quite a bit.
I liked that show.
It's quite a challenge for us to pack up all of our stuff here in Texas and go as far as Chicago and so forth. So it's kind of an ordeal, particularly with us running the fulfillment on the Kickstarter and stuff right now. It would be very difficult for us to get that in. But we've been discussing a way to actually do that, and I know that I had talked with John Russell at one point about doing them handling our product and taking that with the Warlord stuff.
Yeah.
And then just going up there and maybe teaching classes or doing something like that or whatever. But okay. So yeah, I could have brought you your trophy if we were going to do that. But no, I would rather actually send it to you so you would go ahead and have it. It's just that it's been I meant to do that. Yeah, I've been meaning to do it for a while. But no, but I will definitely get that to you, and maybe a couple of other goodies to boot. So, but we've got a couple of other shows that we've got kind of lined up this year. I know that we're going to be doing the North Texas RPG Con, and that's going to be an opportunity for us to run a couple of role-playing sessions for the Savage Worlds role-playing game.
Yeah, beta test.
Yeah. Vicky's been working on a couple of scenarios and it'll have pre-generated characters and all of that kind of stuff. So we're pretty excited about giving that a try.
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing about a selection of 8, and that way there should be plenty of options for people to choose from. It's like, oh, I want to play something like this or whatever, instead of like, well, here's the 4 characters, or there's no choice, y'all have to fight over. But no, but 8 should give everybody a chance to kind of sort through and see what they would like to play. But I'm really excited about doing that, and looking forward to doing that at the North Texas RPG, and there's another local show that weren't we looking at for Plano?
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember what the name of that was now. but they've had it for the last couple of years, and it's mainly a tournament show where they're doing Warhammer, they're doing Star Wars Legion, and I think there might be some War Machine there. There's a lot of tabletop games, but this is the first time that they're doing. I think it's run by Frontline Gaming, but I'm not sure. But they had talked about this is the first year that they're wanting to open up and have vendors and stuff where it's like, well, some third party guys can come in and sell stuff, related to, those particular games and some other stuff. So because that's like an hour away, it's close by for us. It wouldn't be, too much of a problem to pack up the stuff and take it over there. So that's one of the ones that we're looking at. So I put my name in the hat, and they're supposed to send me an email once they start, once they open up the vendor reservation areas and all that sort of thing. So I guess I'm just, I'm waiting to hear, when they get that set up. So, but that's the other one that we're looking at that's local. So I know those three are definitely in the mix, and Twisted Lords Con, in Oklahoma. I'm supposed to be sculpting a limited edition figure for that show. It's a convention mini, and it's inspired by or based on one of the factions in the Gates of Antares miniature game from
nice.
Warlord. So I'm working with Tony and with John to kind of figure out what sort of design that they want for that and all that. Victoria Miniatures has a convention mini again this year for Adepticon, and it's the Sister Joan that I sculpted for her pre-pandemic. It's that character, and it's a little bit different pose this time, and so that's going to be available. I can't really show you any pictures of it because she hasn't posted any pictures of it yet, and I was kind of hoping that she was going to do that this week so I could show you, hey, here's what it looks like and all that. But I'm still waiting for her to reveal what that's going to be. So I always enjoy working on stuff for Victoria, particularly those Adepticon pieces. They're very popular. And she's going to be having Trenchworks run the production on that stuff again. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be a limited edition thing. I think the last one that she did was 200 pieces. And I was able to get one. So I was with everybody else. I got an figure of it, even as a contributor. So that was really nice for them to send me one. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what the response is going to be on this year's version of it. It's pretty cool. And then I'm working on another figure for her. I believe she's doing a Ukrainian relief figure or whatever. That's still kind of in the works. I'm not sure what the specifics are going to be on that, and I'll be on the lookout to see what she's going to post about that. But it's kind of a revision of one of her previous characters that she's released, and I think this one's going to go towards Ukrainian relief or something somehow, and there will be details posted on that. But that's also a good cause, so be on the lookout for that. Let's see what today is. Today is Catter Day, right?
Yeah.
Saturday morning cereal, and so we've got. Let's see.
Leeloo update.
Yeah. Let's see. If I go over here, that's going to. Let's see. We'll run back to here, and let me see if I can take a look at what's coming up next in this. Oop. Yep. That's what I'm looking for. So there they are. Okay. So after the coffee, or it was during the coffee this morning, that
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm sitting there trying to enjoy the coffee that Pat made because it is like freezing cold here where we are in Texas.
Yeah, well,
And
people up north would be like, "Oh, that's shorts
yeah,
and
y'all
t-shirt
probably
weather."
be
But,
like, "Oh, that's just a breezy
right.
summer day," and we're
Yeah.
like, we're freezing.
But it started out at 27 degrees
Yeah.
Fahrenheit.
It's
and
pretty cold.
Yeah, and it's warmed up to 30. It's 34 outside right now. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So
But anyway,
but,
great
yeah.
day for coffee,
Yeah.
which I don't drink very often, but when it's really cold, I think coffee is great. And so Pat fixed them, and I was sitting there trying to enjoy a cup, and so Shastan is like, "Well, I need to climb up in your arms since you're obviously not doing anything, and I need to give you something to do." And so he climbs up and curls up in my arms. And then Leeloo is like, "Oh, well, I'm not going to be left out." So she jumps up on the back of the couch, and she kind of just, it was so cute because Shastan was curled up there just a purring. And she climbs up on the back of the couch and comes over, and she just kind of starts inching over where, okay, I'm laying on the couch. And now I'm laying more on your shoulder. And okay, well, now my head's up against Shastan's head. And they were both just a purring. And it's like, well, okay. Oh,
Well,
man.
and as a new kitten, see, we've got to kind of mention too that it's like introducing her to the household has been kind of a challenge too, because Natiri has not had any of it, and over the last couple of weeks, because as of yesterday, Leeloo has been with us 2 weeks now.
Yes.
So she started, and it's funny because watching her and Shastan interact, they just to interrupt me here for a second, it looks like James has jumped on there.
Oh, wow.
So
well, hey, y'all.
It's good to see you. Thanks for jumping in with us this morning. I'm glad to see you guys are coming in and hanging out with us. I know it's early.
Oh,
But,
18. What is that? 18, 16 degrees? Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yes, feline paralysis, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, I guess I just exist for... Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, over the last couple of weeks, they've her and Shastan have become playmates and stuff. So they get the zoomies really bad after eating and chase each other through the house, and it's really hilarious to see Shastan, who's like a 14-pound cat, and he's really large, being chased by this tiny little kitten through the house. It's funny, and we may have to see if we can capture that on video.
It's adorable.
Yeah. But he's running around, his little tail's puffed out and all this. So
it's like, oh my gosh, this little baby kitten.
Right.
I'm so scared of you.
Yeah, but this is not the Bombshell Cat Show. So, and
Yes, that's
whole,
true. I'm
that's
sorry.
a whole nother.
I'm sorry. We preempted the Bombshell show with cats, but
Right.
sorry.
But that's what's been going on at the household this week.
Yeah.
Here at the shop, we've been able to. Vicky's been able to get some super cool casting stuff done as far as like mold boxes and all that kind of thing. So one of our primary things that we were trying to get done was the Strafer, so that we could get the rewards packages and stuff sent out to our Kickstarter backers. So here's kind of a first look.
Well, and the cloning array.
Well, and the cloning array.
Oh,
right.
you're getting to that,
but,
aren't you?
but
I'm
yeah,
jumping the gun. I'm sorry, I'm jumping the gun.
It's coming, and it's one of the other things that we worked on. But we've got castings of this done, and those came out pretty good. I mean, I'm looking forward to putting together one of those. Now this particular, I think we've had the models around, like the sculpt's been around since the first edition Counterblast, but this is the first opportunity we've had in order to put this out, and I've revised it a little bit. I talked about that in the previous couple of shows where I've changed a little bit of the lens array thing on the front of it and all this. But I mean, it's basically the same model, and the prints came out really nice. So I'm looking forward to putting one of these, or maybe several of them together to kind of see, how they would work with the Mekkus stuff. Hey, it looks like Man, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that, but I know who you are. Thanks for joining us in the chat. Hi.
Hey.
It's good to see you. Thanks for jumping in. Let's see. What else do we have? Oh, right. You were putting the boxes together. Okay, here's the cloning array.
Yeah.
And the supplemental box for the little hatches that we had on the
I
on the
thought
weapon
they might
module.
like to see that.
Yeah. So Vicky's cut all of the pieces out, and she's assembling the mold boxes and stuff in order to box the to mold, to pour the silicone for the molds for these cloning array parts. Yeah. And the little sprues that we have here are the little fetus models for the cloning array. Yeah. It's the little things that go inside of the cloning pods on the cloning array. So basically this stuff that we're using, that we've switched to now, I mean, we used to use Legos in order okay. GW rules, I got you. Nice. Okay. Well, it's good to have you. Thanks for jumping in. And we appreciate you being in the chat. But the mold boxes we're using, basically they're comic book backing boards, and the cool thing about that is that they're kind of slick on one side and they're kind of matte on the other, and so we use the slick part on the inside of the mold box so that when the silicone's against it, it'll come out kind of clear. It won't be frosted or anything. But it's very cheap. It's easy to cut. It's flexible and everything. When we were using the Lego stuff before, it would leave, this brick pattern in the mold, and plus you were restricted to however many bricks wide by however many bricks long you could make the box, and sometimes it was too big or too small, depending on how many bricks you had, and then the silicone would leak into the underside of the Lego bricks, and you'd have to dig it out. So it would take twice as long to clean all of the bricks to make another set of molds than it would be to actually put the mold boxes together. So it was a big time sink. So we went to using the comic book backing board stuff and
foam core for the bigger, real big molds, because the foam core is sturdier and holds up to the weight of the silicone better.
Right, yeah. For anything that's larger than about 4 inches or so.
Yeah, but for the smaller molds, this cardstock stuff works great.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, how much space does the cloning array take up? Like a 4x4 inch table area? No, it's actually a 15. It's kind of built on a 25 millimeter base, or 30 millimeter.
Here, you want one? Footprint. There's one in the patch thing. You can.
In the patch bin. And I happen to have this handy ruler, so you can kind of see. Yeah, this is the base for the cloning array, and there's a ruler, so you can see. Well, there's let's see. You're probably going to want millimeters on that. Let me see if I've got the right size. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you get kind of an idea that it's like, well, that's the base of the thing, and that far. Let's see that far across.
Okay.
Let's see if I can hold it up. Right. So if you've seen the picture of it, you know that the array, it sits on top of that. So there's like 3 layers that stack up and so forth. So it's about this big. Hope that gives you a rough idea of about how big it is. But once I get some castings or whatever done, later today, well, I'll probably grab one and then I'll put one together. Let's see, fit several in a row in a normal. Yeah. Actually, if you got like 4 or 5 of the things, you could do a fairly good sized room, and it would make a really nice piece of scenery. And we've also talked about doing some other like little alien fetus things, sprues as alternates that we'd put in the web store later. Maybe brains.
You could buy the brain sprues and put.
Yeah, you could put brain sprues in there. Yeah. So there's going to be a whole bunch of cool options that you can do with this.
That's going to be pretty.
This
fun.
Cloning array. So, mad scientist rooms. I'm working on. Oh, okay,
yeah.
Great.
Yeah, it'd
Great.
And it'd be great for something like that.
Absolutely. So so when you get that put together, take pictures of it and drop it over on our Facebook group. I mean, we'd love to see pictures of that.
Yeah.
That's always a lot of fun. So, but then she got the rest of the boxes put together, so poured those up, and I'm going to be cutting those later today. But that's basically what that looks like for making that stuff. Some of the other things that Vicky's been working on this week have been some more of the counterblast stuff for the role-playing game. So she got a page, put together for the Ghent bots to kind of show a little bit about them. The Ghent bot actually, it was originally designed on our first Scout Ship Kickstarter project back in 2014, 15? No, 2020, yeah, 13, 14. Yeah, 2014. Because I think it was
14.
Because it was it was the same year that we did the Counterblast stuff.
Yeah.
The first edition. Yeah. So those original Ghent bots were done, and these were done in metal, and so now I offered the STL files over on the Bikes and Bots Kickstarter project last year. Was it? Yeah.
I think it.
Oh, it was year before last. Yeah, because we did the Scout Ship thing last year.
Yeah.
But so the Ghent bots, I've got some new parts for them, new chassis and everything, and you get like a little set as the STL files. So this is going to be the next batch of stuff that we're going to do for production on the Scout Ship Kickstarter project this time. So that was one of the add-on stretch goal items, and so we're going to have some new versions of those coming out along with the original designs that we'll be doing in resin also. So we're still going through our process of migrating over to resin to kind of get away from the metal stuff because of the costs of the molds and costs of the castings and so forth.
Yeah, metal's gone way up too.
Oh, super high. And a lot of the guys over in the UK and in the EU that are talking about. Well, I mean even Corvus Belli that's doing all of the Infinity stuff. Like they're talking about moving to the thermoplastic and doing the Ceocast injection stuff to get away from the costs of the metals and stuff over there, just because it's skyrocketed so much. So we're looking forward to getting these Ghent bots printed out, and you'll see those included in the new role playing game, for Counterblast. And then we've got Zari, which is a super cool Alani mechanic, and this is some art that we had from the second edition Counterblast miniature adventure battle game. So, we'll be porting her over, and she'll have stats as a non-player character in the role-playing game. And I'm doing a sculpt. I'll be working on a sculpt for her, and I'm not sure if she's going to be part of the Kickstarter thing, or if we're going to do some other Alani for the Kickstarter for the Counterblast RPG, or if it'll be one of her. But I know that she'll have a sculpt along with some of the other characters that we have art for from that book. So I'm looking forward to getting to work on that. A couple of the other things that you may have seen from the previous episodes, I'm still working on Destroys Nulls, which is our little character for the Edo. Yeah, and then Urzarl. So I've got that blocked out. And the cool thing about the Urzarl sculpt is I've gotten back into recording my screen as I'm sculpting. So I'm going to be putting together kind of a time lapse of the sculpting and stuff that I'm doing on Urzarl, so you can see kind of my process of how that sculpt is put together from just kind of a base mesh that I had. Just a humanoid base mesh, all the way through to the finished printable file. And then it may be kind of fun for you guys to see, what happens to him, after he's printed, and go through the printing process and actually casting and so forth. Yeah. So you can kind of see the whole production pipeline of what it'll take for that particular character. And we've had a lot of requests and stuff over on the Facebook groups for, more cat stuff. So as a Shrenar character, for Counterblast, he's going to hit all of those check boxes So, and our topic that we want to talk about this week is tabletop scenery. And so I kind of mentioned a couple of things on the Facebook groups to get some ideas about what you guys think about, what you prefer, lots of tabletop scenery or a little bit of tabletop scenery. And I that's one of the things that kind of really propels me to doing tabletop gaming is the scenery, is putting together a table that's super cool looking, that's sort of immersive, that kind of puts you in the setting to play whatever game that you want to play. The GW Rules, the Retro Lab is what brought me. Okay. So was that why you mainly were on the Patreon, right? Was to get the STL files for that, because we still actually, Vicki and I just talked about this week, that we need to print those and put those models out in resin. So because that's another thing that, well, I appreciate that. I'm glad you like those. They're fun, and I kind of redid some of the consoles in order to use in the Scout Ship thing too, because it's all that particular aesthetic. 120%. Okay, cool. So they're a little bit bigger. Yeah. Well, hey, if you get them painted up, be sure and post the pictures of those over on the group too, because we'd like to see those.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm. But talking about the Retro Lab as like a scatter terrain piece, those are really cool because particularly there's like little transformers and things where you can print like a bunch of those and create like a little Tesla fence or something, with I guess it would be, what's that like in the Forbidden Planet with the id monster?
Oh, yeah. The little force field around the landing site.
Right, yeah, they had like a little fence perimeter that was like electrified, and like those little transformer things that are in the Retro Lab, and that's also included with the Elsa the Bride babe.
Yeah.
See, you could because they're STLs, you could print those like GW was talking about at 120%. Okay, well, you could make them even bigger, and have.
And then you'd have like a fence perimeter electrical post thing or some kind of power post.
Yeah. So that would be cool. You could do something like that with them. I would be even tempted to print them out in a clear resin or something and see about putting LED lighting. Yeah, a lightning field. Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Yeah. Every landing site should have that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
I mean, because you never know what's going to wander around and show up.
Yeah, so. And you want to be sure and stop your id monsters in their tracks.
Yeah,
for sure.
Or even Edo Striders or something.
Right. And I mean, look what happened to the Eldar. I mean, it's like, well, their id, got out of control and made Selenish stuff. So you never know what's going to happen. So you gotta shut that stuff down right when you can. But so talking about this, since we're going to be doing some demo games coming up later in the year at the conventions that we're going to go to, I kind of wanted to go through the scenery that I had, and this is some pictures that I took, for the Counterblast book, and the scenery that I've got here is from mainly from two companies. There's Miniature Scenery over in Australia, which has some really magnificent MDF terrain, and then here in the States, the other one is Ironheart Artisans, that's run by Alex Landing, and I met him at Adepticon one year, and so he's super cool guy, and this was the first, I think it was the first company that I saw where he had built his MDF terrain around a soda can or soda cans, where you could make these tanks and so forth. I have the set of billboards from Ironheart also, and so those are really nice too. I've still got those in a box that I haven't put those together yet. And then Dave was talking about LEDs, and a fog machine would be amazing on the table. Yeah. and let's see, what is it? Second Dynasty that ran a Kickstarter for their spaceship STL files a couple of years ago. They had like a little video on their Kickstarter project that's all fog machine and LED lighting on the landing pads with the ships and all of this, and I was really inspired by that when I was working on our Scout Ship kit. I thought that would be really, it was very cinematic for them to put the miniatures and stuff out and show those that way. So but the downside of that is like you've got all this really cool terrain and everything, and I've been trying to figure out, well, the best way to, pack that stuff up and take it to shows. And so there were some cool posts and stuff over on the Facebook groups, this week when I was sharing that. And let's see, Barrett McFosterberg showed this really cool, it was like a cart where you could, they had like a folding tabletop that fit on the top of it. They could put all their scenery on there, but then it had these drawers that would pull out where they would store all of their buildings and terrain and so forth. It was really cool. And if you get a chance to, wasn't able to pull the pictures off of there to show them on the slideshow, but if you get a chance to pop over to the Counterblast group, he's got some comments and stuff in the post on the terrain that I think it's got this picture on it, or it's got the next picture on it. Yeah. And he kind of shows a lot of pictures of their little portable cart, and it's got big wheels and stuff where they can wheel it around. So it's pretty cool looking. But anyway, and then there were some other comments, about tubs from Walmart where you can put some trays and stuff in there. So I'm starting to gather some ideas about, well, not only how we can transport the terrain that we have to the shows, but also some stuff that I want to put together that I've still got that hasn't been assembled yet. So there's still a bunch of buildings and a lot of other little scatter terrain parts. Plus, we have tons of scatter terrain that was unlocked on the Scout Ship Kickstarter project, which now that I've been casting it and we've got molds for it, I want to start putting some of that stuff together and painting it so that we can use it on our own tables, for display, because that's the whole point of making that stuff is to get it out there and get it on the tabletops. So we've got crates and barrels, and there's a fuel center, and as we mentioned, the cloning array, and there's a bunch of other things that we had unlocked on that it'll be a lot of fun to finally paint that stuff up and get it out on the table. So that's what we were looking at this week. Vicky's taking a break, so she's going to head out. And I don't know that you'll be back before the show, because it's like we're getting down to the wire.
Oh, okay. Well, see y'all next time, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
So I'm going to stick around and wrap up. If you guys have some more stuff that you want to post on the chat. I think, let's see, some of the other terrain that we had, was here. And this is a little bit more of the stuff that we have. I think the resin crates and the barrels and stuff that I have there are from Micro Art Studio. And for those of you who are watching this over on our YouTube channel after the broadcast, or Twitch cast, or what streaming, whatever you want to call it. This is all very new to me, but I get the idea. If you're watching this on the YouTube thing afterwards, then check down in the comment or in the description where the description thing is. I'm not sure where that goes, but I'm going to have a list of links of, like, this is a list. It's pretty exhaustive, I think. It's not everybody that makes tabletop scenery, but it's a big list of all kinds of folks that have resin and MDF laser cut stuff that I've acquired or compiled over the last couple of years. So that way, if you're looking for cool tabletop scenery, this is kind of a big, source list. Let's see what James has to say. Let's see. Have you ever looked at the Core Space stuff? I know it's another game system. Okay, that's funny that you mentioned that, because I initially was supposed to have sculpted the first set of characters for Core Space, and and that's interesting how that worked out, because I had done the whole set in putty and sculpted that for them, but I sculpted them in the wrong size. They were too small for what they were looking for, and that was on me, because I had talked to them about I got the art and everything and just started sculpting on them, and I didn't think about that. It's like, well, they were looking for them to be a particular scale or to fit in with other particular minis or whatever it was, so they wound up having to have all of those figures resculpted for their game by David Whitaker. So, and he did a fantastic job on them. I can't fault them at all. They look great and everything. But yeah, but the Core Space stuff is fantastic, and I also backed their previous Kickstarter for just their cardboard scenery stuff that's assembled, and I have a whole box full of that. I think I've got like 20 pounds of the stuff that needs to be like popped out of the frames and assembled and everything. It's marvelous stuff. So yeah, I am familiar with it, and it's super terrific. Let's see, rolling dining carts are great for conventions. They have built-in cabinets and drawers, and you install. Okay, yeah, that's a cool idea. Rolling dining cart. I didn't think about that. Plus they roll, yeah. So yeah, that's a great idea. So I'm going to look at that, and we're going to look at what kind of tubs and stuff that we can get, and see if we can put some inserts in there that'll keep our stuff from rattling around in order to get that to the show. So I'm looking forward to that. The other thing that I kind of wanted to talk about with the terrain and the scenery is gaming mats, and that's kind of a whole separate topic, even though it's kind of related. So be looking at that next week. If you guys have got some ideas for, or some companies that put out super cool gaming mats that are printed, the one that I've got in the picture here is a Zuzzy mat, and I don't know if you guys have heard of that out there. I was really charged when I first saw the Zuzzy mats, because they're textured. They're like giant sheets of latex rubber that you can paint with acrylic paints, and there's all kinds of like textured surfaces and stuff. So it's like having a textured board that you can actually roll up and take with you. But just right after I got the 2 sample mats that I have, because I think they're like 2x2 size, 2 feet by 2 feet, they closed up shop because they wound up getting backlogged with orders, and they weren't able to fulfill them, so they had to kind of shut down production in order to fulfill all of their backlog of orders and stuff. So I don't think that they went back to producing any more stuff, which is too bad, because the mats themselves are they're magnificent. The textures and so forth that they had on them. So let's see. Core Space has super gaming mats too. Okay, cool. All right. Well, I'll definitely check that out, because I haven't gone and looked at their stuff lately to see what they've got in the way of that. 2 feet square. Yeah. No, 2 feet square is perfect for demo games, and that's exactly what we're looking for. Is not necessarily something that we would set up here at the shop, or maybe, but it would be something that would be totally portable, that we could just set up, at the game show to kind of show, well, here's how the game is played. And so I'll definitely take a look at that and check out Core Space mats too. Let's see, Armorcast has a mix of resin and other terrain, Hearst Arts bits, and cinematic effects. Yeah. We've got a lot of Hearst Arts molds here, so there's some really cool stuff in that. And there's let's see, and Armorcast. I don't know if I've got any Armorcast stuff. I used to have some of their big giant epic Eldar models, like their first Eldar Falcon and the Phantom Titan that they used to have. I had those. But I haven't got anything from Armorcast lately, so I'll have to go and check their stuff out again and see what their newest stuff is. So that's some good tips too. let's see. I'll go back over here and look at that. That's what we've got in the. Yeah. So let's see. Core space. We talked about core space. That's good stuff. Let's see. What is it? I think I've got a couple of deep cut mats. Is it deep cut studios or what's that called? I don't have them in the list. I'll have to add them to the list. But their stuff is really really good. Let's see. Warsenal. Yeah, Warsenal stuff is pretty cool. I know we've got some crates or something from them, some little resin pieces. They've got some really detailed stuff. So that looks pretty good. But I will publish this list, and I probably post it over on the Facebook groups and stuff too, so that you guys can take a look at that. So I also kind of wanted to put out there that we're going to be doing kind of a new show in the next few weeks, which is going to be on the workbench. And that's going to be my sculpting show, where I'm going to show a lot of stuff on sculpting, in progress, as far as that goes. And then we're going to do building stuff. So I'm going to be building parts of the spaceship, like, engines and hull sections and all of that type of stuff, so you can kind of see some of the mods that I had in mind for that. Magnetizing things, putting LEDs in, and some of that type of stuff. Some of that stuff I haven't done before, so it will be kind of a learning experience for me as well as for you guys. So it'll be a lot of like what not to do when you put your own stuff together. But then, Vicky's going to be painting some stuff too, more than just Major Tom, which she's working on the thing here in the frame below. So we've got a bunch of the new minis that are coming up that we want to assemble and paint, and so we can get some pictures out, we can update the web store and do all of that. But I kind of wanted to see what day would be the best to stream that new show. So, because for us, we kind of wanted to do a weeknight, Monday through Friday in the evenings, because I know a lot of you guys are, you have day jobs and all of that sort of thing, and because Vicky and I do this sort of all day, it would give us an opportunity in the evenings to kind of decompress after feeding the cats and to kind of work on some hobby stuff that is also kind of an opportunity for us to get some stuff done that needs to be done, as far as painting display models and some of the stuff that we need for the show and for the web store. So I'll probably post something over on our Facebook group about like, hey, what would be a good night of the week to start running that show, and see if you guys want to pop in like we're doing the chat here and kind of chat with us and check out what we're working on while you guys are working on stuff. So it'll be kind of a hobby hangout online where, you can kind of ask questions or something about like, well, when you do that, why did you do this? Or why do you use, green stuff or milliput or Abe's epoxy sculptor? What's the difference between those? And, why are you, doing that stuff? So there may be some information out there that you guys would like to know about that. Or you may have some stuff that you've done in your own modeling or painting or whatever, that you can drop some info on us and say, hey, we've figured out, a thing that works better than what you're doing. And so I always want to know what that is, because if I can, save some steps or, shave some time off, that's a big help as far as we go. So it looks like that we're coming up on 10 o'clock, so we've been running about an hour. So not Tuesday or Thursday. Okay. So there's other stuff going on Tuesdays and Thursdays for Heather that we want to avoid. I'm leaning, me personally, it would be a really cool thing to do Wednesday nights because that kind of breaks up the week for me. The Wednesday for us is trash day. I know this is getting like outside the realm of talking about bombshell miniature stuff, but I scoop out the cat boxes and gather up the trash and do all of that stuff in the mornings, and it kind of breaks up the morning for me. And then like if I have a little work day in the daytime, and then we can do like a Wednesday evening and then just have a hobby time, I would really enjoy that, and it would certainly break up the week between doing this show on Saturday mornings and then doing something kind of midweek. So then we may just kind of shoot for that and try to do Wednesdays. And of course, like with this show and like the workbench show that we're talking about doing, that's also going to be ported over from the Twitch, which we're doing live, over to YouTube, so that you guys can watch that at any time. And I'll also try to okay, great, that Wednesday will work better for you. Down for most Wednesday evenings. Super cool. So I'd love to have you guys come and hang out with us. And I may get with you guys if you want to set up something there. I'm still working on technical stuff here to have guests and stuff on the show. So we would love for you to if you have a camera set up or something there where you could pop in and I could put you in a little frame or something in some blank spots, and we could have you guys pop in and join us. That would be cool too. And so we can talk about that offline. I know that would be of interest, to us, and I'm sure that other people watching it either during the broadcast or later, would enjoy having more people to talk to than just Vicki and I. This is really kind of an interesting thing for me right now because it's I did a little bit of DJ stuff with a buddy of mine when we were in high school, but this is the first time that I've actually just talked openly into a microphone for any length of time, just on my own. So it's kind of weird not having an audience or not having Vicki here or somebody else to kind of talk to. So I know you guys are out there, but it's always a lot more fun when there's some feedback and some conversation and stuff in it, rather than me just stream of consciousness going on. But yeah, thanks for popping in about the evening times. So Wednesday, we'll look at that as being our main night for that show. So did you guys have any questions or anything out there in chat land that you kind of want that you want us to cover, or that you want me to talk about before we wrap up today? Because we've got a few minutes left that I've got on the show here, and I'd be happy to tell you what I can tell you if there's anything that comes to mind. So otherwise, while we're thinking about that, I do want to encourage you to like and subscribe that stuff. I know you guys hear that from everybody that broadcasts, but we've got kind of a new channel here, and this is a new thing that we're doing. So we don't have a lot of followers and all that sort of thing, and that would kind of help us get a little bit more traction as far as like the it comes up in searches and stuff over on Twitch and YouTube and things. And there's probably a lot of other YouTubers out there that are doing stuff that have a lot of an audience, and so we're trying to make our way through the the thick of the media and so forth. So, but otherwise, I certainly appreciate you guys dropping in and hanging out with us this morning. I know it's kind of an early thing and it's an odd time to run, kind of a show like this, but I was really stuck on the Saturday morning cereal theme, and that's kind of cool as far as it fits in with our aesthetic about the pulp stuff that we do, and all of that kind of thing. So it's a good time for us here at the shop to kind of hang out and talk to you guys in a low-key setting. But okay, well, let's see. Heather got some painting done. Let's see. Thank you. You got me moving this morning. Awesome. All right. Good deal. Well, I'm very excited that you guys have come to hang out with us this morning, and it's always good to see you guys, even though you're out there in the Ethernet. Dave got some priming done this morning. That's awesome. I'm glad you guys were able to get some stuff done, and it's cool to be able to talk to you guys and hang out while you're doing that. Hey, put your mask on, man. If you're doing spray priming and stuff, you want to be sure to, take care of the lungs. So, but yeah. So we're gonna get back to it. I've got stuff that I got to go cut, and molds I've got to cut open, and castings and stuff that I got to do. So, no, Dusty the Bombshell Babe. Oh, I got you. Okay, yeah, our little cowgirl, right? Brush priming. Okay. Since you mentioned that, what kind of paint are you using for your brush on primer? Are you brushing on the Badger stuff, or is there like a Vallejo type of a brush primer that you're using for that, or something else that you like? Here's a little trick. That Style and Res, that's it, man. I love that stuff. I love spraying it through my airbrush, and I love the way that it covers, and I love the surface to paint on. It's my absolute favorite primer ever, is Style and Res. So, and I'm probably not even pronouncing it like it's supposed to be, but anyway, and I gotta give props to Brandon Gobin, okay, because we went to Wonderfest. No, we were at Wonderfest, and he had gotten the little sample set of the gray, the black, white, and gray of the kit, and he had an extra one and said, well, hey, here, I already have these. If you want them, you can take them with you and try them out. So I was like, okay. And I'm pretty set in my ways. It's like I've been doing hobby stuff for a long time, and so I thought, well, I kind of busted them out, and I thought, well, I'll give them a try and I'll see. But it's just the absolute best primer I've ever used. I love it, love it, love it. It goes on plastic and on resin and on metal and everything. So yeah, I love it. Let's see. Heather's wrapping up on Reaper's 54 Fenari for ReaperCon, but 75. Kai is on the table. Oh my gosh. Yes, please. I would love to see a painted Kai. That's awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Yes. Mission Models Primer. Oh, I haven't tried that, but that sounds cool. I would give that a try. Style Res is the best. Yeah, it is. I'll pass along a little trick to you that I had kind of figured out. I don't know if you know what gouache is. It's like a white opaque watercolor paint, and it's not permanent because it's a watercolor type of paint. It's water soluble, so you can clean it off. And I was always having a hard time determining where the mold lines were on miniatures, if I was going to paint them for competition, because man, you don't want to have mold lines on your competition paint jobs for sure. I mean, they're going to mark you off for that. So particularly on metal models, when I would clean them, I would always miss mold lines and stuff on there, and I was having a hard time figuring out how can I see that I've gotten all the mold lines off of a model. And so what I had done is on my competition paint jobs that I had done was like when I got the model what I thought was clean, I would take white gouache and primer the model with white gouache and check to see if I had gotten all of the mold lines off of it. And if I'd missed a spot, then I could just clean it, and then I would rinse the model off. All of the primer would come off of it, and then I would permanently primer it with the primer that I was going to use. So I know it's an extra step and it's a little bit more work, but I mean, if you're doing a competition mini, it's worth doing that in order to make sure that you catch all of the mold lines and there's not something on there that they're going to mark you off for. So anyway, that's a cool little tip that I wanted to pass along. But anyway, so let's see. Prime Fenari converted now. Oh, okay, cool. So All right. Well, look, I am going to wrap up this episode because we're an hour in, and I want to kind of keep it to where it's watchable and it just doesn't go on. But next week, we're going to be talking about gaming mats and stuff. So I'm going to be posting some stuff about gaming mats this week. And if you guys can jump on the Facebook groups or whatever and post links to your favorite gaming mats or ones that look cool to you that I may not have ever heard of, then that'll be our topic. And we'll talk about that some more next week. But we're going to get back to working here. You guys keep working on your hobby stuff and post pictures of what you're working on, because I would be super excited to see what you've got on the workbench coming up this week. So I'm going to let you guys go here, but thanks for jumping in and thanks for chatting with me this morning. It's been a lot of fun and I enjoy doing this a lot. So I'm looking forward to talking with you guys some more. So we will see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye from the Bomb Shop.
We'll try.